Hey folks, this is Aaron from the Piano Bar, and this is a pilot episode of what may be a web video series. It's not a podcast, it's video, and it's not live, which I'm calling the most requested. So these are going to cover some of the most requested songs at the Piano Bar. Some people ask, what is your favorite song to play? If you're a player, sometimes some people ask, what are the most requested songs? So we're going to go over them one by one, and soon I'll be joined by some of my partners. But I wanted to start out with the song Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. Now, normally I would play it for you to hear, but for copyright reasons, we're not going to do it. Just take a listen if you want to. But by far, Don't Stop Believing is definitely one of the most requested. I would put it in the top 5. This is a song in many piano bars that you will see requested by multiple people many times a night. Up to over 10 times a night, you will get Don't Stop Believing by Journey requested. And so it is one of my favorite songs to play. Why? Because everybody loves to sing it, and everybody wants to hear it. That's what we're assuming. I'm not saying everybody wants to hear it, but the majority of the people in the room want to hear it. So we wind up playing it sometimes 2-3 times a night because it's what you guys want to hear. It's Tuesday, so in Fayetteville, the Piano Bar in Fayetteville, we're open. We've got tequila specials. Check our Facebook page for the most up-to-date information. Wednesday night, we have Columbus, Ohio location open and Fayetteville location open. And it's Wednesday Gives You Wings, and that comes with $3 fireballs. What are our specials? $3 fireballs, $4 Vegas bombs. There's where the Red Bull comes in. And $5 Red Bull vodkas, which is a great deal because vodka Red Bulls, as the bartenders will tell you how to say that, are not cheap. And it's a good way to get to the middle of your week. That's on Wednesdays. So yes, a lot of this will be a plug for the Piano Bar. Otherwise, why do it? And then we're going to talk about the song, and I'm going to talk about Don't Stop Believing. I'm just going to give some bare bones facts first. It was released in 1981. So this song is as old as I am. I was born in 1981. In this case, the band, The Journey, the band, several of the guys in the band actually wrote the song. Been called one of the 500 greatest songs of all times by the Rolling Stones, which is a magazine, not the band. Maybe the band thinks so too. Maybe the Rolling Stones actually thinks it's one of the 500 greatest songs of all time. I'm sure they are on that list themselves. But the magazine said this is one of the 500 greatest songs of all time. At the time it was released, it hit number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100. And it's just outside, and I found this interesting, just outside the top 20 best-selling songs, digital downloads of all time. So people have downloaded out of this. This is a non-cussing video, I think. I think it's got to be a non-cussing video. If one slips out, I'll probably have to beep it. In popular culture, I think one of the reasons it's remained so prevalent, and people of all ages know this, from the youngest to the oldest person in the room, they'll know this song, scratch. And it's been featured on, performed on Glee. Of course, that's a while ago now. And even earlier than that, The Sopranos and their season finale famously used this song and stopped it. Now, I've never watched Sopranos, but I've heard plenty about the use of Don't Stop Believing in that show and in that finale. So I think that's one of the reasons when a song, and this is true for a lot of songs, when a song kind of has a resurgence. We were playing something like I'm a Believer by the Monkees before it was part of the Shrek soundtrack. That was part of, some of the requested songs. And then again, when it showed up on that soundtrack of that movie, it became another more requested song. And there are many songs that kind of span generations this way. Of course, now when you don't have to get a ride to the mall from your mom to buy a $20 CD just to hear one band's album, and you can find it all on Spotify and iTunes and YouTube and all the ways to listen to music and stream music, in the post-scarcity world of music, it's interesting to see how this plays out. But I see Don't Stop Believing as falling into that realm of it's going to appeal to a lot of people. A lot of people have heard it. And because it's been featured in a lot of other popular culture after its initial release. Sometimes, whatever was number one, number two in 1981, we may not even remember right now. I didn't even look that up. But there were a lot of hits out of 1981 that still get released. That's going back to bands like Toto or Michael Jackson. 42 years old, almost. Let's talk about the song in and of itself. It's not that complicated, and it's pretty simple. The actual Don't Stop Believing part doesn't happen until the very end. So Steve Perry, it's sung by Steve Perry, who he can sing pretty good. He can sing better than I can. That's why it's a hard song for us to play, because even if we move it down, originally it's in the key of E for all the music people out there. Generally, most of us will play it in the key of C because it is very high to sing. But we love it when the audience actually sings the entire song. That keeps our voices from self-destructing. So Don't Stop Believing is repeated. Don't Stop Believing is repeated about 3 times at the end. And then it kind of fades out slightly pretty quickly. Even on the second time it's repeated, Steve Perry just does a vocal thing on the hold on and see, it's terrible when I do it. It's great when he does it. It's kind of funny to me that it's called Don't Stop Believing, and in the piano bar, we'll just do it twice. Stand up, let the people sing it, you sing it, or whomever is in the room, and then we kind of move on from there, and it's a great song. And as I just listened to it just now, I've always kind of considered this song a ballad, but it gets clipping pretty good because it starts out with that iconic, and I play it for you again, copyright issues, that iconic keyboard. Some people might think it's a piano. It's not a piano. It's a synthesizer. It's some sort of keyboarded instrument. I mean, the synthesizer, but it's not a straight up piano. It's a synthesized sound. So bum 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 bum, and then there's that bass line which really makes it move. Bum 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 bum. So it's a song that people recognize immediately when you start playing it, if you're playing it right. Most crowds will sing every word, even if you have played it 5 times that night, which is great, because I'm not going to sing as well as Steve Perry, so I'd rather everybody else enjoy singing it. Personally, and that's why it's one of my favorite songs to play, because it is something that everybody appreciates. Just to talk about some of the lyrical content, the rest of the lyrical content, of course, we've talked about the Don't Stop Believing, which it's named after, not really showing up until the very end of the song. It starts out with just a small town girl, and you probably know exactly what happens. It tells the story of a small town girl living alone, but she takes a train. And then the boy takes a train, and he's from South Detroit. And this is where the geography lesson comes in, because you'll hear people explain, and I don't know this. I didn't look at a map. I should have. I meant to look at a map. But, that South Detroit is bordered by Canada, which is a strange thing to happen, but it happens up there along those borders because of rivers and all that stuff, I guess. I'm just going to stop talking about geography. Anyway, there's not really... as far as I know, there's not a place called South Detroit that, like there is, this is the district or area or downtown, Fayetteville or the North High Street in Columbus. According to legend, Perry sang East Detroit, West Detroit. They wanted Detroit for some reason. East Detroit, West Detroit, North Detroit, South Detroit, and he just picked it because it sounded good. And some people will say, well, that's actually Canada. And I will argue it's not Canada because it's Detroit. It's just the southernmost part of Detroit is where this city boy comes from. You do have the city boy, country girl imagery, which smacks of a love song. But this is not a love song, because this is the last we hear of city boy and country girl. Then we go on to the singer in a smoky room. What does it smell like? It smells of wine and cheap perfume. And so there's a singer, probably not where they want to be in life and doing something that they might not totally enjoy and might not have matched up with their dreams. And that's where we kind of get to the heart of the song. And so why do we mention the small town girl and the city boy, taking the train to get out of wherever they are, the singer in the smoky room? It's a song about hope. In what I would call it a comfort song. It's a song about hope, and I think that's why people also really latch onto it. It really is Don't Stop Believing in your life. And I would say, of our top 10 most requested songs, a lot of those songs have to deal with that. Living on a Prayer is another example of kind of a hope song, although that's very specific about Tommy and Gina, but it's kind of a don't stop believing or living on a prayer. We're going to make it. We're going to find a way out of this. Don't stop believing. There's hope. There's a chance that we can do it. And so you see the small town girl and the city boy leaving their lives, and you have the description of the singer in the smoky room, and they can have a little fun in where they are in life, but the hope is that they get to move on maybe to something better. And to cap that off, they end the song with Don't Stop Believing. And I think that's a good message. And I think that's something that makes it fun to share with a group of people like we do in sing-along dueling piano bars. And that's what we are, sing-along dueling piano bar, the piano bars are. And so we encourage singing along, and this is a great thing to sing along because the message, the lyrical content, really isn't anything to balk at unless you're just a cynic, and that's fine. You can do that. I like the message of it. It appealed to us during COVID when we were faced with financial situations and the closure of the bars. We used this song and it was emotional for us because the message of the song was don't stop believing. We've got to get through this, and we did, and we prevailed. Of course, there is a dark line in this. I'm looking at the lyrics right now. Some will win, some will lose. Some are born to sing the blues. So some will win, some will lose, but don't stop believing. And I think that's where I'm going to go ahead and end it with this. I'll just remind you, the Piano Bar on Dixon Street, Fayetteville, Arkansas, on North High Street in Columbus, Ohio. Visit our Facebook page for the most up-to-date information for what's going on that night. Today's Tuesday. That's Tequila Tuesday. We have some tequila specials. Fayetteville's open. Tomorrow is Wacky Wednesday or Get Your Wings Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's a great time to go out and blow off some of that work steam and then go back a little hungover, just a little hungover, and finish out Thursday and Friday, then come back. Thursday night specials, I will remind you, are kind of half-price drinks in both places. The prices are a little different in Columbus and in Fayetteville. And then Friday and Saturdays are kind of the big nights where everybody's there. And I recommend the apple pie shots. They're great, great value. And the Jell-O shots. There's never a cover. Never a cover. You can walk in whenever you want. You can walk in like a regular bar. However, we do recommend reservations for those wanting to make sure they have a seat, as it can get busy. You can do that online, and people always have questions about the reservation system. It's very simple. You're just reserving a seat. It's not like staggered reservations. This has nothing to do with Don't Stop Believing, by the way. Don't stop believing in reservations. You can make a reservation on our website, whether it's thepianobarnwa.com or thepianobarcolumbus.com. Please make the reservation at the city you're in and planning to go to. Otherwise, we won't have your reservation. You're reserving a seat up until 7:30, not necessarily a table, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're reserving a seat up until 7:30 so that when you walk in, you're guaranteed a place to sit. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free to get in. Beyond that, you can always just walk in. There's not a cover charge ever, and you can participate in singing something like Don't Stop Believing or some of the other most requested songs that we will go on to talk about. But I do encourage reservations. Going back to that again, I know people always get confused. Well, it's not, you can't make a reservation for 9 o'clock. No, it simply holds you a seat until from open until 7:30. in both locations, and because we can get fairly busy. And if you walk in there at 8 o'clock, there might not be a seat and you're going to have to stand around, which is fun too. I recommend standing around. I love to stand around in bars, but if you're not into that, make a reservation. But remember, if you miss your reservation or it doesn't work out or you're running a little late, you want to get dinner, you can walk in. That's fine. Don't Stop Believing. You can get in, and there's not a cover charge. So part plug, part advertising, part talking about some of our most requested songs. And I started with Don't Stop Believing because it is one of my favorite songs to play for a group of people. If we're going to, I don't listen to it all the time on my own. I listen to podcasts. You get in a piano bar and you want to have a fun sing-along experience, put Don't Stop Believin' up there on the piano and see what the crowd does, especially if there's a lot of people in there. It's a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to end it there. Just fairly longer than I wanted it to be. So we will see you at one of the, either in Columbus or Fayetteville or coming up in Rogers, Arkansas. I know a lot of people have questions about that. I do not have an opening date. Everybody in Northwest Arkansas will know when we have an opening date. I will make it very public. And yeah, that's coming up. But right now, Fayetteville and Columbus are open, and we look forward to seeing you there. And, you know, keep that hope alive. Don't stop believing.